This is a 3M VersaFlo respirator. You've probably seen Alex Steele using one. I've gotten to try one out for a little while. I thought I'd give you a bit of a review. Now we'll get the big stuff out of the way first. This isn't really a sponsored video, but this was sent to me by Rob at Weber Abrasives, and he's the distributor for 3M products in Australia. So while I don't get to keep this, he knows I'm a knife maker, and he thought maybe I'd like to give it a test, and I thought I'd actually make this video since we've all seen Alex Steele using one, and you're probably wondering, you've probably looked them up, seen how much they are, because they're not cheap, and probably wondered, wow, is that really worth the money? So this video is kind of to sum up why, yeah, I really do think it is. Now it looks really bulky. You can see here it's hanging off my head there, and it's got the little belt pouch down the back, and you'd think that's actually really heavy. And I actually have a real problem with welding masks, keeping them on my head, because it sort of pulls at my neck after a while. I'm not sure if that's just me, or whether or not it's, everyone has this. However, this has kind of a counterbalance thing in it. So while the mask is up, the weight tilts to the back, and you've got it a lot more balanced. And I've actually been wearing it all afternoon and don't feel any strain whatsoever, whereas a welding mask will give me neck pain after about half an hour. So that's one thing to consider. It's really comfortable to wear. Now, why would you ever want one of these? That's a long topic about PPE and what you should be doing in your workshop, and I'll get into the basics of it. But really, especially when you've got facial hair like I do, many respirators will not create a perfect seal around here, and that micro dust that comes from grinders will find its way in, and ultimately, even if you don't have facial hair, wearing respirators does make it harder to breathe. It gives you a bit of shortness of breath. You've got to push harder, or pull harder I should say, to pull in a full breath, and it starts getting a lot more uncomfortable. This fixes that particular problem by actually forcing air up through this back tube and into the helmet, and creates a seal with this elastic, so that when it's down, there's nothing that can get in around the sides of my face. The seal is actually so good that I put the mask down and forgot to turn it on, because there's a battery pack that you have to actually manually turn on and off. It doesn't turn on as soon as you pull it down. I forgot to do it, and I started getting short of breath. That's how quickly the carbon dioxide builds up in there, because of how good the seal is. And while that was scary, it's actually pretty cool. What else about it? Well, we've all used full face shields. You can actually see mine up there in yellow. You put them around you got the headband, you pull the visor down, and there's all that air gap around the outside that things will still get in, like dust and that. But by and large, it stops those full frontal things hitting you in the face. Angle grinder shards and sparks from your grinder belt, the ones that like to whip around the back and shoot out the top. This actually has that covered with a full face shield that is actually safety rated, and the field of vision on it, despite being fully enclosed, is almost complete. I can just see a little bit around the edges of my peripheral, but by and large I have quite a wide view, and that is, as I don't need to tell you, very safe to actually know what's going on around you. Now, anyone who's responsible with PPE probably has one of these, some of these, and they'll wear them all together, and it's really, really uncomfortable. It's kind of claustrophobic. They don't ever fit right. Have you ever noticed that? Like, sometimes if you're wearing one of these, headphones won't fit on, so you've got to use those little dinky inner ear jobbies, which I find never work quite as well. Anyway. And then you've got one of these, and then that's constantly sort of knocking against the front of this, and so you've got to have it kind of sit it up at an angle like that, and that just encourages things to come in, and you make do. It's an awful thing. It's an awful reality of working with metal. You often make do when it comes to personal safety, and it's because it's really awkward. Even products from the same brand don't fit together well, and My biggest problem is any sort of respirator that I wear, if I put glasses on over the top of it, they fog up. With little tiny, I've got a really big schnoz, I don't know if you can see that, but little tiny air gaps make the breath go up and it fogs up the glasses. And it's why I often, when you see me wear my steampunk goggles, they create a much better seal and I don't get fogging up when I'm wearing respirators. And I do look like a Mad Max villain when I do it. However, this has your respirator, your face shield, your eye protection, your ear protection, all in one piece, and it fits together flawlessly, and you don't have to worry about like a bit of it falling off. So really, it's very easy and fast to take on and off. I mean, I'm just wearing it casually here, but all I have to do is fold the ears down, pop them in place like that, and they're held compressed against my head, and then I pull the shield down. Turn the backpack on, and all of a sudden, I'm fully protected. My ears are protected, my eyes are protected, my lungs are protected. Just my face in general is protected by this safety rated. It's not glass, it's like an acrylic, but it's safety rated acrylic. And then you can take it off as easy as that. And you don't even have to fully remove the earmuffs. You can pop them out and you can have them sitting there ready to pop back in, but you can hear the outside world. Or you can fold them away when you don't want to. My favorite part is I like wearing Bluetooth earmuffs in order to listen to my tunes while I'm working. And 3M actually make earmuffs that have Bluetooth in them, which a lot of people have. I don't have 3M. I use a brand called Tactics, which you get from a hardware store here in Australia called Bunnings. And these are great. I'm a huge big fan of these. These actually changed my world when I got those. But essentially identical to 3M ones. As far as I can tell, they're no better or worse. However, they will still clip into here. These are removable, and you can clip in your Bluetooth ones, and you're rolling. You're fully protected, and you get to listen to your jams. So that is a big win for me, because especially this is for somebody who's going to be sitting in their shed for hours at a time in an enclosed space filled with metallic dust particles and sparks and all sorts of dangers, who wants to be able to just zone out and get the job done. And that requires sometimes music for some people, audiobooks, podcasts like the ForgeCast are often good to listen to through Bluetooth speakers. But really, the ease of which you can take this on and off again, you don't even have to sit it on your head. I find you can actually sort of have it hanging like that. The tube kind of rests it on your shoulder because it's not really long. It's exactly the length it needs to be. And I'm a big guy. 99% of you have not seen me in person. I am a comically large person. My proportions make me look normal, but when you see me in person, I'm sort of one of those people you go when you meet. And it fits me beautifully. The headband inside is adjustable. There's no wobble. There's no play in it while you're working. I mean, look at that. It's pretty good. And to be able to just take it off to have a drink or something and then go straight back to work, it's just super easy. And really, to have that level of precision packaged up in that level of convenience means that you will use it. You will be safe. And nobody likes getting metal shards pulled out of your eye at the doctor's. So, the elephant in the room. These are really expensive. Really expensive. Especially since your average knife maker is not exactly... It's not a career you get into if you want to be wealthy. Let's say that. So, these are, in terms of a bit of PPE, comically expensive. Is it expensive for a reason? I genuinely believe so. I don't see it as a rort. I know there are Chinese knockoffs of these, but frankly, seeing the precision with which it's put together, and having actually used it for a time now, I can't see them being as good. Maybe one day I'll try one of those and see if it works as well, but the fact that this has it's 3M parts, and 3M has been known for a long time. Once again, not a sponsored video by 3M, but they've been known for a long time to put out some pretty top quality stuff. So I did have high expectations when I found out this was coming to me, and frankly, all of those expectations have been exceeded. I'm very, very pleased with it. The best way I can describe it is, Lego, Anyone played with Lego before as a kid or even now? I don't mind a bit of Lego. The precision with which it goes together shows just what their quality control must look like. Because if you've ever tried the Chinese knockoff Lego, I call it Schlego, fake Lego, it's always got like little burrs on it and things don't quite work and they get stuck and everything. Lego is always perfect. Have you noticed that? Always perfect. There's never a broken piece or whatever, and it's bulletproof. It's indestructible. And I've recently learned that even the original wooden Lego bricks still perfectly fit with the modern bricks of today. Like, their precision is incredible. 3M's kind of got a similar reputation with their stuff. So, yes, it is. They're not ripping you off. It's worth the money. Can your average person afford this? No, absolutely not. But one thing that I learned, which was pretty cool, may actually help you out with that. Almost all of the parts here are replaceable. Like this fabric section here with the elastic does wear out over time. You can actually see out in Alex Steel it's getting a bit cracked. The visors here are not just a visor, there's also like a contact film that's a scratch resistant thing. That's replaceable. The filters are replaceable. The hoses are replaceable, all of this. And so a lot of the time you can find second-hand ones and then go to the 3M's distributors and find replacement parts to get it essentially back to brand new. That may be a better way to go. I've seen second-hand ones go for as low as $800. But really you can't beat getting it new. And like I said, it was Rob at Weber Abrasives that sent this one for me to try. Once I'm done trying it, it's going to be going over to all the way to the other end of the country for my boy Sam Towns to try. Love you, Big Fudge. And he'll give his opinion, which I'm sure will be very similar to mine. I've found that my confidence has gone up grinding with it. I didn't realize what percentage of my CPU was put aside to personal safety while I was grinding, with sparks flying everywhere and risk of things hitting my face and, sounds and breathing is always, I don't know, that's a personal thing. I'm very paranoid about lung health, which is why I've done PPE videos before. But to be able to just stand there and be fully shielded and breathe deeply, and really easily, there's no restriction on the breath that a respirator has. You got to do that pull harder. You sound like Darth Vader. That was pretty good. But this, you just breathe normally. And I kept finding that I was sort of holding my breath, waiting to have to pull up a big deep breath, it's a trained muscle response. But this, you just stand there breathing normally. It's very quiet. You hear the little fan sucking the air in. And it's kind of cool on your face as well. And it's just pleasant, and because of that I was able to focus much more on my grinding and bash out this chef's knife that I'm working on really faster than I normally would, because I didn't realize how much I was sort of hesitating with other things, checking to make sure, constantly wondering, repositioning the respirator or my goggles or whatever to try and get it right, whereas this thing, literally after about 10-15 minutes of using it, I forgot it was there. Your vision's not impeded, you've got full peripheral, you breathe normally, it's cool to wear, and it's so kind of balanced and well designed that you don't notice it on you. And I'm impressed. I'm well impressed. I'm sad that I have to give it up, to be honest, and it will be on pretty high on my priority list of things to get for my shop. Really, I plan on doing this for a very long time, and you can't do that with metal shards filling your lungs and eyeballs burnt out from grinder sparks hitting it. Although people try. So yeah, the 3M VersaFlo, is it worth it? Absolutely. Should you start saving now? Absolutely. It's you'll get to see it in a few videos and then it'll be gone, unfortunately. But yeah, definitely check into Sam Towns' channel when he eventually gets around to doing a video on it, because I'm sure he'll have some extra notes on it. They're much more professional of a knife maker than I am. But that's it for now. I'll leave you guys with it. I'll get back to work. I'll catch you later.
To the wind that howls, oh, not to the cliffs that suffer the sea. or to all the weights that are tied to me and by my own designs. Hold me up to thin air, hold me up to disappear now into the never-ending night.